Bonjour, 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 mes amis. Bienvenue. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Citroen C5 Aircross. You may be wondering why I have a can of shaving cream in my hand, because Citroen told me there's C's in this car. Let's see if we can go find one. Doesn't work on the other way because of course the C's facing the other way. And while we're about it, can I point out the chevron for Citroen, the LED daytime running lights, the halogen headlights, and down below, these little things. Don't know what they are, but I love them. This one actually has vents through it, the other one's solid. And there's also some fog lights. There are two models, Feel and Shine. Shine is the top, Feel is the bottom. Feel has 17-inch wheels. Let me show you. And along the side, we have indicator repeaters. Just here. We have smart locking and entry and start. Just there. And back here, a little see-through window. Like so. And there's a little Citroen piece de resistance. More chevron craziness. And 3D LED tail lights. All of that on a hatch that is electric. Inside, the floor has a two-position so you can get a little, I don't know, 6 inches extra. And we all know how much extra 6 inches can matter. Well, to some anyway. Never believed self-promotion. You can lock all the doors and close it by simply pressing this. I'm not going to because the key's in the car. This is Citroen C5 Aircross in its natural habitat, the inner city. It's not to say that it's not good for long highway trips. It absolutely is. It handles beautifully, rides sensationally, but more about that later. Everything this car does, it does well. Just about to turn onto Sydney's famous Oxford Street. Hey cutie. Whoa. Holy crap. Oh, sorry, forgot it's recording. And now on Oxford Street, this wide boulevard that connects one part of Sydney's eastern suburbs to the CBD. Apart from being a game mecca, it's also a mecca for really fabulous cars, and C5 Aircross feels right at home. First, a little bit about the car. It comes from French car maker Peugeot-Citroën. In France, they're bitter rivals, or as we like to call them, frenemies. In Australia though, they finally came to their senses and started marketing each other together rather than separately, mainly because Citroen sales are fairly, modest. Now, as the European Union moves towards electric vehicles, in the meanwhile they've shrunk petrol and diesel engines to a point where you could pop them in your pocket. This one is a 1.6 litre, 4-cylinder Euro 6 engine. On the highway, it gets under 7 litres per 100 kilometres. Well and truly, there's the figure just there. Around town, a little bit more, and if you were just doing city driving, it's around 10.3. But that's still not bad. Acceleration. Well, acceleration is what we like to term relaxed. In fact, best get out your calendar. It's 9.9 seconds to 100. And that's not bad by any means, it's just relaxed. One of the fantastic things about C5 Aircross is the sensational ride. Everything about this car is geared for gentle touring. The braking is gentle. There's nothing worse than those brakes that have nothing. Then they grab and try and push a face through the windscreen. It's incredibly unpleasant. Now, this part of the road the New South Wales government has been working on for, I don't know, 200 years. And what was once a smooth surface is incredibly potted. And I came down the other day in a car that was fairly firm, and I nearly rearranged my organs. Just then I could hardly feel it. And that's partially due to Citroen's brand new suspension system. Gone is the sensational soft ride of the fabulous DS, and it's now replaced with a new system. This system, as you can see in my film, takes different galleries, little holes in the side of the piston inside your damper, and it allows varying amounts of fluid. It's deliciously simple, but very, very effective. It means that under normal circumstances, when the damper is not compressed, the ride is soft and pillow-like. It is a little wallowy on very hard turns, but this isn't a track car, and it's all the better for it. There are two models, Feel, which is the base model, and Shine, which is the top model. And although both models have that sensational suspension system, the top model, the Shine, gets extra padding in the seat. In fact, the technology in the seat comes from the bedding industry. It's like a pillow top mattress. You feel like you're sitting on a cloud. The astonishment continues once you get up to speed and you realise that that soft pillow-like ride only gets better the faster you go. The engine is unbelievably smooth. It's only 1.6, as I said, but it's connected to the front wheels by a clever 6-speed automatic. Now, you might say that that 6-speed is minus a few gears, and I think you'd be right. It is minus a few gears, but despite that, it still achieves fairly good fuel consumption. And if it's smooth and quick and quiet, what's the harm? This is the world famous Art Gallery of New South Wales, where at the moment the Archibald Prize is showing, along with the Sulman and Wynne prizes. I don't know what that means, but it's forcing me to believe it. And we're driving out onto a little promontory of land that sticks out into Sydney Harbour, with all the muscle jocks doing their lunchtime runs. We are now at Mrs. Macquarie's chair, and if you look outside through the tree you can see the Opera House, and if you're really careful, the Harbour Bridge. Sydney really has one of the most beautiful harbours in the world. There are little nods all over the cabin to Citroen's history. For example, here at the bottom of the steering wheel, this is a nod to the old DS with its single spoke. And the Citroen double chevron has been reimagined several times since it first came out, but it's how the gears mesh together. It's meant to look like teeth of gears. The buttons on the steering wheel have some of these little shapes, all very easy to access. The ones on this side control the clever dashboard. As you scroll through, the LCD changes completely, which I think is incredibly clever. There's some more of those little oval shapes on the doors and around the door handles and around the vents, and the vents are highlighted with a bit of piano black. But all of the surfaces are nice and soft, and there's a nice strap detail here above the glove box. The seating is especially posh. It looks like a fine French suit that you'd purchased on the Champs-Élysées. The infotainment system is controlled by the touch bar. Pressing the button on the touch bar, for example, allows you to select things like Apple CarPlay. Once upon a time, CarPlay only included Apple apps, Now, as you can see, it includes things like WhatsApp, Spotify, TomTom Go, and Pandora. You can also use Google Maps as well as Apple Maps. You can handle all your messaging, phone and music hands-free without having to lift a finger. There's buttons under that for heating and demisting, and the door lock. The centre console is a neat affair. There's a pistol grip automatic gear selector with the park button on top, the electric brake, manual mode, drive mode control, downhill, and sport modes. If there's one thing I really hate is this stalk that Citroen has insisted on maintaining for its cruise control. In the bin with it, it's absolutely horrible. When you're driving, it's behind the steering wheel and you can't see a thing. You'll see down here memory. One of the things that you'll notice here is the speed sign. That's speed sign recognition. It'll come up on the dashboard and ask you if you want to remember that and set your cruise control to that speed. Rear space is more than adequate for a car this size. In short, this is a pretty cool car. Citroen C5 Aircross scored the best ever for comfort. I gave it 10 out of 10. If I were you, I would reach just there and press the round button to subscribe.